I've picked up several dozen Protoss warships descending upon Tarsonis. They seem to be heading on a direct course to the primary Zerg hive.
If they engage the Zerg, the Confederates may escape. Commander, send Lieutenant Kerrigan with a strike force to engage the Protoss. Captain Rayner and General Duke will stay behind with the command ship.
First you sell out every person on this world to the Zerg. Then you ask us to go up against the Protoss. And you're gonna send Kerrigan down there with no backup?
I have absolute confidence in Kerrigan's ability to hold off the Protoss.
This is bullshit. Kerrigan, are you reading this?
I heard. I'm going down there. Arcturus knows what he's doing. I can't back out on him now.
Funny. I never thought of you as anyone's martyr. Why are you doing this, Kerrigan? Look, I know about your past. I've heard the rumors. I know you were part of those experiments with the Zerg, that Mengsk came and saved you. But you don't owe him this. Hell, I saved your butt plenty of times.
Jimmy, drop the knight in shining armor routine. It suits you sometimes. Just not now. I don't need to be rescued. I know what I'm doing. The Protoss are coming to destroy the entire planet, not just the Zerg. I know that because, well, I just know it. I am a ghost, remember? Once we've dealt with the Protoss, we can do something about the Zerg. Arcturus will come around. I know he will.
I hope you're right, darling. Good hunting.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Starcraft. And this time Mengsk really has gone and done it. We're going up against the Protoss for the first time. It's actually quite a rarity from what I can remember in the whole of pretty much the Starcraft franchise. I'm pretty sure that Terran versus Protoss is the rarest pairing. Even the mirrors, Terran v Terran, Zerg v Zerg, Protoss v Protoss, I think are more common than straight up Terran versus Protoss. So this is going to be a rarity. However, the Protoss on this mission aren't really a big threat, to say the truth. They don't have any of their like super powerful units available, and they pretty much have no detection whatsoever. So therefore we're just going to do a pretty standard Wraith attack backed up by a couple of battle cruisers, and that should be enough. However, the big overriding thing for this level, at least for me, is the storyline. It's obvious now, and it's becoming more obvious to Rayner. Certainly Rayner and Kerrigan's getting ideas that Arcturus is just as bad as the Confederacy. He's getting out of control, and he's just willing to go to way too many extreme lengths in order to get his message across. And as things often turn out, when someone overthrows a dictatorship, you can very easily become just as bad as the previous dictators were. And there's nothing at this point, and everything at this point is pointing to the fact that Arcturus, if he's handed a weapon of unbelievable power, which he has been with the psi emitters, he is obviously not afraid to use it, and he's used it against a monstrous civil. He's not just used it against the Confederates, he's used it against an enormous civilian population. So, you can't possibly say that you're working for the good guys at this point. And one of the things that the Starcraft team are absolutely rapid to point out is that Rayner, for sure, is pretty much the only character who is universally, in air quotes, good. Throughout the whole series, every other character has some kind of shade of grey. A lot of people like to point out either some of the Protoss characters, but let's face it, the Zerg have appeared in infested areas, and the Protoss reaction was to burn all life off the planet. So it's not they're not exactly angels either. And obviously the less said about the Zerg the better in terms of who the quote-unquote good guy would be. So, Rayner's definitely struggling with his conscience at this point. Kerrigan's been struggling with hers since the whole first use of the psi emitter, and now it's all coming to a head here, where Kerrigan's now got to hold off the Protoss on a Zerg-infested planet. So as far as this mission goes, the #1 priority, you've got to hold off the Zerg and the Protoss, but you can't destroy any Zerg buildings. And the Zerg do just completely surround us at this point. Well, they don't quite surround us, but they're above us and to the west of us. So we basically have to defend ourselves from the Zerg, but not destroy any buildings. We need the Zerg to be as strong as possible to take out the Confederacy. As batshit insane a plan as that is. I mean, the thing is, I'm a bit weirded out as to why the Protoss have decided to directly engage the Zerg here rather than just follow their standard tactic, which is burn the life off the planet. Because it's pretty obvious that this system's lost. And if the Protoss did burn the life off this planet, then there'd be no need for this stupid mission that we're doing at the moment. You'll notice this dropship's been parasited. That means that the Zerg can see everything that this ship sees. So I'm taking her way away from my base. Not that it's going to matter too much, but take her well away from my base so they don't get up to the minute data, and also we find ourselves a nice little expansion over here that we can use. We will probably need to expand. I think you probably can one base this mission. I don't think that it would be a terrible idea to one base, but there's the Vespine refinery down here. However, I think that just going on 2 would make it easier, and going on 2 makes it a lot easier to go battle cruiser as well, which is something that I will want to do at some point during this mission. So just flying around, a little bit of a look at how the map looks at the moment. The Protoss are to the south and to the east. I think their main base is to the east. Ugh. Zerglings and my Marines not bothering with anything. Lost enough seabed.
Stay cool, Commander. Remember the plan. The Zerg are to remain unharmed.
Yeah, that's basically the order from Arcturus, pretty much saying the Zerg, you do not destroy any Zerg buildings. So we're basically just the force completely in the middle here, and that's not what you want to be when you're dealing with the Protoss and the Zerg. You really don't want to get into the middle of a fight between them. I want to just create a small cover force here. Just a couple of bunkers full of Marines. Reasoning behind that is that the Protoss will send Zealots and Dragoons through this area. So, not in huge forces, but enough to potentially be a worry to our supply line. So, I am just going to go ahead and put some bunkers there and wall that off. And there's the 2 bunkers, and let's get an academy, and we're just going to go through our standard upgrade procedure here. And that gets those 2 bunkers full of Marines, and the only way in now. What I should also do, I should probably put a couple behind my mineral patch, because the Protoss are extremely fond of dropping on this level. They have some shuttles available to them, so they are definitely fans of dropping. I researched siege mode here, which, going for siege tanks here would be fine, but I think I actually don't bother to build any siege tanks in this mission. So even though I've got siege modes up, I don't bother to build them. One of the problems with building siege tanks and putting them in siege mode is they can reach the Zerg buildings. So if you set them up in siege mode on the side of your, on your side, if you ever get vision of the Zerg area, the siege tanks will just bomb the Zerg base, and then you'll lose the mission, which is an extremely frustrating way to lose a mission. But anyway, we are coming up on the academy being built now. And I'm going for the increased range on Marines because I'm in a defensive formation at the moment, so I probably won't be using stim. Double ups, again, I think double ups is a little bit optimistic, but then again I've not done much building early on here, so I've got a little bit of money to spend, but that's usually not an excuse to put double upgrades down, because that chews up a lot of resources really quickly, and it's probably just better to put that into units in the early game. I put an armory down as well, and I've also put a missile turret back here. That again is to cover any sort of drops, gives me view of any drops that are going to happen. And you can see we're relatively unmolested at this point. There's really no attacking going on by the Protoss. I think that the idea behind that is that the Protoss realise that the Terrans aren't really their enemy. They've just been caught in the middle, and they're trying to work around it, whereas I believe that the Protoss government would rather that they just burn everything, burn anything Zerg off the face of any planet. What happens when you don't follow orders, I guess. I will go double starport here, because eventually I think I just want to put... What I'm doing here, really, I'm building things for when I have the infrastructure. My whole idea is going to end up going 2 base, 2 starport, and just going 12 Wraiths, some battle cruisers. I'm researching spider mines because I actually want to mine the entrance of my base to stop, because while we can't attack the Zerg can sure as hell attack us. So that just makes things annoying, to me at least. And here goes the second starport, but you can also already see that my money's severely low now. So I've now got this force of Marines, and we're going to expand, because I can't support what's in the base currently on one base. So I have to go and expand a little bit. But the Zerg are in that blackened area to the northwest, so they can attack this base as well.
Not enough minerals.
Oh, 399, seriously? Right, get that built, and that's our expansion done, and it's covered by a group of Marines at the moment, so we just need to defend that area and we will be fine. Second starport is now online. And cloaking's been researched for Wraiths. I will give them a reactor upgrade as well, because that's usually one of the things I like to do. Gives them a little bit longer cloaking. And that's basically going to be the way we do this. Looks like we've got some Mutalisks running Harask there for the Zerg, but they're not going to be a big deal. And can't quite build the control tower here. Marines in the way. Oh, looks like the Zerg are running interference on us here. Oh, Mutalisks, I see. It's alright, Kerrigan's more than capable of taking care of herself. Of course, lockdown's totally useless against the Zerg, but it's but her remaining abilities are pretty good. Just using my vultures to drop some spider mines here. And you know what? I feel like being safe, so let's spider mine a little bit more of the entrance.
Oh, is that it? I dig. No problem.
And we'll spider mine this area as well in case the Protoss get any ideas. I could just build a load of vultures and a load of spider mines, but you do have to spread spider mines out because they will detonate each other, which really isn't what you want to be doing. And we'll just keep the Wraith production up.
Transmit coordinates.
Let's move some stuff away so that I can get this ComSat station built. There's some Marines over here that are in the way. There we go. I'm not going to go nuke. I don't really have the Vespene gas to be able to support going ghost nuke. So that's why I built the physics lab rather than the covert ops. I want to be able to build battle cruisers. And of course, what is a battle cruiser without a Yamato cannon? I'm going to build a second command centre out here. I do have the spare minerals. I'm mining off 2 really rich mineral patches at the moment, so I think that a second command centre here, just to make things a little bit easier, is absolutely fine. It also acts as a super supply depot, so I'm fine with that. There's no real problems. And having extra comsats is never really a bad idea. I could also build nukes there, I suppose. But just keeping the production of race going. I am producing out of 2 starports now, so feel like I'm doing okay there. But I am mining quite quickly, as you can see. I might mine the first base out at this rate. Now, if that's the case, I probably want to go after the Protoss sooner rather than later. So now I'm actually going to do a bit of a wall off up here as well. I just want to block the Zerg off from doing anything particularly nasty to me. And I think that my Wraith force is definitely getting to where it needs to be. And I can build a refinery there as well. And once I'm then on fully 2 bases, it should be fairly simple for me to just wind this up. As you can see, nothing really happening at the moment. More Vespene gas. I'm going to definitely need that second refinery up before I start going battle cruisers. You can tell I've not quite got that. I've not quite got that refinery saturated at this point because it's. Yeah, I'm thinking about a wall off here, and unfortunately the spider mine's kind of making it a little bit impossible. But we'll just keep things ticking over as best we can. And we've got that up now, so let's build a refinery, and that gets us another covert ops station, and that gets us nicely sorted out. Still no Protoss, no real sign of Protoss forces, but the Zerg have found us. Well, that's not really a force that's going to hurt at any point. Neither's that, neither's that. So...
Base is under attack.
Oh, looks like an attack's coming up the top as well, but I do have a couple of bunkers there, so there's no real big deal, and that's been dealt with as well. I think that was the Protoss who attacked there. And there we go, that's now saturated, so we can get her moving. I think it's time that we had a look at attacking the Protoss. Oh, really? Meet the Zealot, which... you can see they actually do decent damage to the Zealots. Those side blades really do hurt. But they're obviously a hand-to-hand unit, so they're not much good against something which is shooting at them from the air. And their only course is to run. And upgraded Zealots are actually pretty fast. I'm just going to tell my Wraiths to hold position. The reason for that is that Wraiths are known for chasing after stuff. They are 100% chasers. And that is the... oh, that's an Ultralisk. It's a dead Ultralisk now, but that was a bit more scary than I was expecting at this stage of the game. Ultralisks are basically the Zerg tanks. They don't do huge amount of damage. They don't do much more damage than a Dragoon does, which was the Protoss unit that you just saw. Nothing going on here. Just ignore me building this huge line of bunkers. That's my Maginot line, for anyone who's a World War II enthusiast. And here comes the battle cruisers. So I'm just going to build 2 or 3 of these. I don't need a full force of like 12 or something like that. We'll save that for the last mission. And yep, just missile turrets and bunkers and missile turrets and other such stuff. Yeah, missile turrets. Because the Zerg do use overlords an awful lot.
Hailing frequencies open.
Aha.
All crews reporting. Good day, Commander. Hailing frequencies open. Identify yourself. Shields up, weapons online. Not equipped with shields. Well then, buckle up. We are getting way behind schedule. I really have to go, number one. All crews reporting.
Now, he's obviously not Duke level, this battle cruiser, but they are... Battle cruisers are always going to be a seriously big pain in the ass to people. And I'm actually Whoa, scouts! Scouts! Yeah, Protoss scouts are wraiths on steroids. The only thing they don't have is a cloak. But in air-to-air combat, they're even better than wraiths are, and they're a lot more sturdy than wraiths are as well. So it's kind of hilarious that they're the Protoss quote-unquote scout fighter, when in fact, I think that's mentioned in the. It's mentioned in the blurb for the game, basically, that any other race would consider the Protoss scout a warship, but the Protoss just consider it a scout vessel, which shows pretty much how far their technology is ahead of everybody else's. So unfortunately, I have mined out my main base at this point, so I am now in a situation where I'm going to have to improvise a little bit, and I think it's time that we head for the Protoss base. We're going to head there slowly because we're following this battle cruiser.
Make it happen.
But everything's also upgraded. All the ship stuff's upgraded to 3-3 as well, so we're doing fine. Zerg Swarm meet Maginot Line. Yeah, that's not going to work. Just keep building up that pool of blood. Look up the phrase futility in throwing a couple of Zerglings against that line.
All crews reporting.
Okay, battle cruiser's Yamato cannon will be useful because it can one-shot the Protoss photon cannons, which are the only thing I think the Protoss have which are capable of seeing cloaked wraiths, and I'm just going to use a bucket load of scanners to see where I'm at. The lazy man's way of revealing the map. Shouldn't use all the scans because it is possible that the Protoss have observers, which are cloaked scouts basically. They're cloak detectors, so the one-way detectors that can't be detected. They are useful, however. I'm just scanning this area just to make sure there's no observers. There aren't any, so let's decloak and head in. Battle cruiser can hang back for a minute while I get this done. Protoss weakness, if you take out all the pylons act as their overlords and as their power source. So if a building has to be built within a pylon range, and if you kill all the pylons that are within a range, it will shut the building down. Now the AI tends to build with huge amounts of overlap, so it tends to not be very efficient to go after pylons. The one thing that I did do there, I destroyed the observatory right away, so the Protoss now can't build observers, which means that they can't see anything that I'm doing, so that just makes things a little bit easier for me. Killing off some pylons. And if I wanted to, I could expand down here as well, but I've got enough at this particular point that there's really no need for me to start going expansion crazy. I could expand if I wanted to, but there's no real need to now. I pretty much have all the resources that I would need, and I have the military that I need as well, because the Protoss just simply can't fight off this Wraith force. Because they only have Zealots and Dragoons, and they're the only two photon cannons that matter. Here come some forces at least, but you know, when you can't see what you're shooting at. So obviously what would probably happen in the field is that the Dragoons would just start firing blindly at wherever they felt a laser was coming from. Good to take down these scouts while I can. And because of the extra 50 energy, the cloak is lasting for absolute, you know, it's lasting forever here. That Dragoon is pulling us out of the base, which is annoying, but my cloak's about to fail, so I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna swarm in, kill that last Dragoon, and get out of here while I can. So that was a successful attack, and while I wait to decloak, you don't have to. We get a nice little jump cut here, cloak again, and I think I've got 3 battle cruisers there now, rather than the paltry one that I had earlier. Yep, 3 battle cruisers. And of course I run into 2 scouts. Now don't be, you know, don't take for granted what's happening. Those scouts are definitely a threat to those battle cruisers. Problem is 2 of the battle cruisers are new, and therefore they don't have access to their Yamato gun. As you can see, I'm a little bit miffed at this point. I'm like, I don't have a chance to fire my focus on one. And my race decide to go into range of the only thing that can detect them, but never mind, they managed to get away. And you can see here how race can just be super annoying and just walk into, you know, they'll just chase things all over the map, and it's really irritating sometimes to control them. You have, you know, the moment they're kind of like having a 3-year-old kid. You know, the moment you take their eye off them, they've got their hand in the cookie jar, and that's what they tend to attempt to do. So you've got to try and keep them in tight formation if you can, because they're just irritating.
Hailing frequencies open.
It's like 3 battle cruisers is definitely enough to take on some Dragoons. Yeah, the Protoss don't. I mean, the Scout is a decent counter to the. The Scout's a decent counter to the battle cruiser, but I'm not too sure they can build enough of them in this level for sure. And they're definitely building they're definitely building Scouts from there, so I'd like to get that killed ASAP. It's probably worth focus firing it down, actually.
Base is under attack.
And there you can see a Scout doing pretty bad damage to a battle cruiser there. But 3 battle cruisers is enough to take that out. Really worrying too much, and one of my races decloaks, so we're out of special weapon energy. So let's just decloak a lot of them. And the Protoss keep sending their 1 Dragoon to take out this battle cruiser force. It's like, yeah, tell me how that works out for you. Oh god, double whammy. That's probably a bit unnecessary. See, even battle cruisers like going for a bit of a run. Oh, 1 Scout versus 1 battle cruiser is not a fight I want to really fight at this point, especially with the battle cruiser damaged. And let's just murder some zealots. For ages I called them zealots, but I believe it's zealot, and it's how I pronounce it. Most.
Your forces are under attack.
That Dragoon lasted a long time before it exploded into a blue puddle. And of course, when you have some battle cruisers, what do you want? You want more battle cruisers. That's 6 battle cruisers? Something like that, anyway. But I can't find the remnants of the Protoss yet. No, oh, Scout. Yep, cloak again. So ridiculous on this level. Oh, that's a rock and a hard place situation if I've ever seen one. Quick, run away from the invisible death. Oh, here's the real death.
Coordinates received.
Your forces are under attack.
Sector locked
All
in.
crews reporting.
Yeah, that's not going to work, is it?
Make it slow.
Go ahead, Commander.
Okay, well the Protoss have another base to the east, so we're going to go and slaughter that for fun and profit.
Good day, Commander.
I think the base is a lot smaller than the one we've just smashed, so I don't think we have too much to worry about here.
Make it slow.
Now, the Protoss had a fairly, they had a decent force, but they just didn't conglomerate it, and of course, they were the the guy who you play against who never builds detectors and just gets killed by that one or two cloaked units that you have.
Reporting in.
Okay, wraiths that way, battle cruisers this way. Got to be around somewhere, right? Aha!
Crews reporting. Receiving transmission.
Battle cruisers just jogging on, can't be bothered. The Dragoon is running away from battle cruisers and getting further and further ahead.
All crews reporting.
I do like the Dragoon as a unit. I think it's a really nice unit. But so far the Protoss are getting worn down. I do like how Raynor at the start of this was like, you're asking us to go up against the Protoss, sort of like emphasising that the Protoss are someone who you really should not mess with. They're on a completely different level tech-wise to Terrans.
Crews reporting.
So it's like, why would you provoke them when they've got the power to destroy all life on a planet really easily? Oh, photon cannon. Destroy that before my race get in trouble. And this is where the rest of the Protoss stuff was hanging out, was it? Still don't think this is going to be too much of an issue. I think this might have been the first base, pretty much, that you were supposed to attack, because it has the, it has the buildings for building the enhanced zealots, and it has the buildings for building the Dragoon.
Your forces
Whereas
are under attack.
the other base did not have that. That only had the gateway. Two scouts have got ambitious. If there's one thing the scouts are rubbish at, it's hitting stuff on the ground. They are pretty terrible at that, it has to be said.
All crews reporting.
Still, it looks like the remnants of the Protoss base are going down, while my wraiths are getting incredibly vindictive in chasing down these two zealots.
Roger.
Seems like a bit of a mean thing to do, really. Playing a 25th century version of whack-a-mole there. So you can see there how the Stargate just shut down because there's nothing powering it. And that's the end of that chapter. You can see that the battle cruisers probably are doing more damage than the wraiths are overall, because the wraiths just micro pew you, whereas the battle cruisers, the laser might be slow. They might be slow and ponderous, but they really hit hard. But I believe we're looking at... But you can see how the Protoss haven't mined anything here. Because that's one thing the AI doesn't do, it just doesn't mine properly. But I think to
Base is under
compensate for that, they get a hell of a lot of resources instead. Anyway, it looks like something's happening over at the... base, and what we're about to see is probably going to be the most influential and terrifyingly bad decision that happens in the entire Starcraft universe. My god.
Receiving incoming transmission.
This is Kerrigan. We've neutralized the Protoss, but there's a wave of Zerg advancing on this position. We need immediate evac.
Belay that order. We're moving out.
What? You're not just gonna leave them.
All ships prepare to move away from Tarsonis on my mark.
Boys? How about that evac?
Damn you, Arcturus. Don't do this.
It's done. Helmsman, signal the fleet to take us out of orbit. Now.
Commander? Jim? What the hell is going on up there?
Mengsk, you cantankerous arsehole. What the hell have you done? Well, there's going to be an awful lot more to this story. And one thing that I am going to show here is just how many Zerg units I'd slaughtered at that point in the battle. But it's not enough. See you next time, guys.